Cameron Vinsel here, doing the video synopsis this week for about pregnancy in a different culture. And I think, like many other people, I decided to select the pregnancy culture in China, and the Chinese way of doing things and how they handle pregnancy. Yeah, multiple generations do live together, it seems like, especially in a Chinese culture. The grandparents, they're involved pretty heavily in the process of figuring out if it's a boy or a girl and stuff like that. And I couldn't really find any information if it really specified if multiple generations live together, but it's not uncommon in China. One thing I'd like to talk about is the foods that the pregnant women in Chinese, what they are and what they aren't allowed to eat. From a source, it says there are many ancient taboos regarding the food Chinese women eat during pregnancy. It's believed that if a pregnant woman eats food that's not properly cut or mashed, her child will have a careless disposition, or if she eats light-colored foods, the baby will be fair-skinned. We see this with a lot of pregnancy cultures like China, that they're real particular and they're real careful about what their babies do eat and what they don't want them to have, and just as simple as if something's not mashed the correct way, that the baby could have disproportioned limbs or stuff like that. And that kind of leads us into the superstitions about a certain culture, like the Chinese. One is that many also believe that no construction work should be done in the house, which that could be seen as, if any hammering or swaying could lead to a miscarriage. That's one that could really be relevant, I think, even with us today. Women shouldn't be doing construction work when they're pregnant. That's not really a superstition. This was one that I thought was interesting. It said, once she becomes pregnant, she has to guard her thoughts. It's believed everything she does and sees will influence her unborn child. According to old Chinese tradition, whatever the woman thinks, or what she sees, even, or what goes through her head, can impact, how the baby will act and how it will connect. A lot of pregnant women read good books and good poetry, and they just try to read and think a lot of happy thoughts. They don't gossip. They don't sit on a crooked mat. They don't lose their temper. They stay really calm. It's just really, the pregnancy process is a really kind of dumbed down, like a dulled sense of, you're not supposed to do anything, and they'll even shield their eyes sometimes to keep from looking at stuff. It's just really different. Sex is absolutely forbidden during pregnancy. Just kind of flowing into the thing of, no activity really. Another superstition was that pregnant women should never attend funerals, and they should really try to scare away evil spirits. And it's not uncommon for Chinese women to sleep with knives under their beds, just as a scare tactic to scare the evil influences away. Now, I did read a lot about like the zodiac signs for Chinese pregnancies, and that kind of did play a huge role into the Chinese custom when a baby is born. It's not uncommon for parents to hire fortune tellers to read their baby's fortune, and in the Chinese custom, it's believed that the babies, each person is made up of one of 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. If a fortune teller finds that the child is lacking in one of those zodiac signs, then it'll be incorporated into the name to kind of make up for that mishap. Kind of talking about the names. It's not. I read the Chinese sometimes have 4 or 5 names for a person. One for childhood, school, one after graduation, or even some after death. And it's just there's just a whole process. I feel like that kind of sums up kind of the, not really the craziness, but the many differences of superstitions and different things that we see with cultures outside of America. So thanks.